smart enough to twist him. Hey, yeah, I see you looking at our point guard. Yeah, she's kind of cute, right? You know what? She says she wants to talk to you. Really? Because, Brightburn had a thing for a little girl.
Yeah.
And it didn't turn out well.
Mm-mm.
So I definitely think that you could play with Brightburn's emotions. But the problem is Brundlefly knows the evil that potentially comes out of being rejected by a woman. So I think Brundlefly, plus Brundlefly's a genius, would be able to pull Brightburn's coat and listen, you shouldn't listen to what she says because the vomit drop.
There's no way that Simon's getting into Marlowe's head, though. No way.
No.
Marlowe's not weak.
Marlowe doesn't respect the human race. That's the problem. Marlowe doesn't care. And you want to talk about goon, the dog soldier. The dog soldier is the goon. Marlowe's just going to be like, oh, dog, leash. Yeah.
Heads being lopped off.
I'm getting into this too much.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, so I got Simon, then I have Azazel from Fallen.
Oh, another one who doesn't respect the human race.
No.
He's not gonna care about this game at all.
None.
He's against God and human.
And you know what I love too is Azazel goes after Denzel in that movie because how strong Denzel is. He's not. He's the opposite of Simon. He doesn't want to go after weak people. He wants to go after strong people. So Azazel is going to enter the Xenomorph or Marlowe. Azazel could enter Marlowe, maybe potentially, and just Azazel would just follow Marlowe around and just make him a shell of his former self. Probably.
But now there is a thing where a vampire is technically dead. So the only ones who are alive, everybody else on my team is technically alive except for the vampire. So Azazel, being the smart guy that he is, the most powerful on the team is Brightburn because there was a comic book, Superman versus Aliens. And when Superman was at full power, he just shredded the aliens. So if Azazel is going to take anybody over, he takes over Brightburn and he just starts, he's on my side. And the coach is like, Brightburn, get your head in the game. He's like, yes, it is. And now suddenly Brightburn's shaving points. And we're like, what the hell's going on?
And also Brightburn can fly, so no one's going to bump into him and shift Azazel.
Exactly. You don't have to dribble the ball if you're in the air.
And what's amazing is Azazel can still be on the bench because no one would see him, and in Brightburn. So I have 6 players technically.
That's right. There you go. Very good. Very good. And anybody else on your bench?
I have the Blob as a backup center. Just blocking the lane.
Again, you and intangible things. You are a bad guy.
And then I had Syl from Species. And then I had, because she's driven, right? She wants something, she does it. So you want that basket, you're going to do it. And then I have Jennifer from Jennifer's Body, because she can float and she's immortal. And this seems super powerful. So I think having those players on just kind of mix it up a little bit. But I'm happy with my starting 5. Who's on your bench?
Okay. I have only one person on my bench because my one person on the bench takes care of everything. Ladies and gentlemen, number 69, the naked chick from Life Force.
The vampire?
Yeah. Now here it is. She is the vampire from which all vampires began, quote unquote. She's from outer space. She's completely naked. She can handle the ball. Did I mention she's completely naked all the time? She walked around London. Plenty of times she had a chance to put on clothes. She refused to. So this is going to be a distraction to at least some people on your team. Definitely the creepy murder ghost. Because even though he's intangible, he's still a manly man. And so there's no way he's going to focus on the team. Also, number 2, oh, by the way, she turns people into vampires. So anyone who's human on your team, unfortunately, your point guard and your shooting guard, she does the life suck from them. Boom. Now they're on our team. Your team is done. Your point guard is gone. Your shooting guard is gone.
So now you have a werewolf vampire.
That's right. That's right. She sucks the life out of anything that is not a part of the unexpected assault because we come out of nowhere, baby. That's what we do.
Man, Space Girl.
So, that's right. So once your 6th man is a vampire who is intelligent enough to control the stupid vampires that she creates, that's good to go. Which is why we both reasoned we couldn't have the zombies. Because the zombies are berserk. Unless they were the Return of the Living Dead zombies, because they were still smart. They were just driven insane by brains because of the pain of being dead.
Could Azazel take over her?
I want to say that Azazel could take over her body because she is alive, but she's not human. Then again, Azazel was created by God, so God created the universe. So in theory, Azazel could take over anything that is alive.
But the problem with that is that means nothing's in Brightburn now. So Simon would have to be... Well, I could shift Simon over to Brightburn.
You could potentially.
I have 7 players.
Azazel that's the thing, you see? Azazel is one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay? This chick, the naked chick from Life Force, a.k.a. Be with me, Carlson, and just makes out with everybody. She's very distracting. Did I mention she's naked all the time?
Good old space girl. Toby Hooper.
That movie was insane, and that girl was naked all the time, even on TV. And I was like 10. Like, what is happening in this movie? It's awesome.
Like, I can't believe that this made the theaters. And 85 too. Like the 80s weren't the you can think about it in the 70s, right? With all the Grindhouse and late 60s, and you have the Crazies, and you have Death Race 2000 and Corman. But in 85, this was a very non-85 movie. People
in the 70s were trying to make shocking movies, kind of gore, and there would be some nudity. This girl was just naked all the time, and I don't know why. It was uncalled for. And her name was just Space Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She didn't even bother, let alone clothes. She didn't even bother having a name. She was just like, whatever, I'm naked. Oh, by the way, I've turned London into zombies. All of them. And that's what she's going to do to your team.
That's one of those movies you can never recommend. Hey, you should watch Life Force.
It's a guilty pleasure. 100%.
You get everyone together. Hey, guys, let's watch Life Force.
No. Because you're going to be uncomfortable because this girl's just naked all the time. So it's a movie that you either like, you watch it alone, or you watch it with that special someone so you can be like, okay, you want to know why I'm weird? Because this is my favorite movie. And then you just press play and just watch her slowly move out of the house and never talk to you again.
Someone calls it one of the most messily dazzling science fiction epics.
I love this movie, and I don't know why. Sir Patrick Stewart is in this movie.
Yeah, I love it.
Why?
Man, do I focus Azazel on? This is tough.
Yeah, what's your defensive move against someone who is not only always naked, but as soon as she touches your other player, she just drains their life and turns them into a vampire?
Well, I don't think the Jotun's too worried about it, and Johnny Bartlett's already dead.
He's already dead, yeah.
So Candyman is too. Oh, mm-hmm. Candyman would be bad with this. You're mine.
And she would be like, be with me, Candyman, and just make out. Oh, hey. And now the game's just stopped because now things are happening.
This is... I'd have to get the Jotun and Bartlett. I'd have to switch Bartlett to defending her. It would get weird. It would get weird.
It would get weird.
Man, that's tough. Or the Blob.
Well, yeah, the Blob has no feelings. So the Blob is a massive space bacteria.
On my bench is the Blob, right? And then on your bench is Space Girl. So I would have the Blob just spread out around my team to prevent it. Does that make sense?
It does make sense because the Blob, while the Alien Queen has acid for blood, the Blob just dissolves everything. Mm-hmm. The Blob dissolves flesh of all kinds.
And if Space Girl tried to drain the Blob, she would melt.
Yeah, it's not possible. Space Girl can't drain the Blob.
And the Blob's like, I don't care about your lack of clothes. I'm the Blob.
The Blob doesn't think. Yeah, exactly. The Blob has no thought other than devour and grow large.
So we'll teach it a few rudimentary tricks, and then the Blob's just got to watch out. So whenever Life Force is on, the Blob is on, just blocking.
But this is where you backfire, okay? Because your coach, who's your coach again?
Oh, the shark from Deep Blue Sea. The main shark.
So the shark from Deep Blue Sea is in the tank, doing semaphore and drawing on the waterboard. The Blob has not only no eyes, but no brain, no central nervous system. You think the Blob's paying attention? No. The Blob has devoured your 200-foot center, bro, and used it to create its mass. At the end of your practice, the only thing left is the Blob. Because all of your players have been absorbed by the Blob, because the Blob has no feeling.
I guess in my brain, I'm thinking the Blob has the Blob gets it. Not a lot, but it has a giant headband, and it just knows the The Blob just knows enough. Okay, I'm on this team. I'm not going to kill them. When I'm on the court, I just got to defend this person.
Okay, then my suggestion is that your Blob is the Futurama Blob, who has like the bully son. I think that's what you're thinking.
Yeah,
because
not the brainless moving thing that just devours. Yeah,
because if you go with Steve McQueen Blob, that's bad. If you go with the 80s remake, which quite frankly I think is a great movie.
Oh yeah, great.
If you go with that Blob, it's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one was brutal. That one ate people in love, small children, dogs, the homeless. That one didn't care about anything.
So yeah, I like it. I think that's good. What do you think? It's the Futurama Blob that can at least pull some thoughts together.
I'll allow it. That's not horror, but it's obviously an homage to the Blob. Sure, I'll allow it. Because the blob as you define it has no intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Now granted, this is a ridiculous exercise as it is, and there's no way that the alien queen is going to do a crossover into a step back 3.
But in this world it does, right? In this world
In this world it does, because my 6 players have some form of rudimentary intelligence. The blob is a large bacteria. I mean, the Blob DGAF, my friend, about the basketball.
Maybe I could get Syl from Species to guard the alien coming down.
Well, now we're in a dark place because, Syl from Species is definitely going to recognize some things in the Queen.
Yeah. I mean, Syl, Species is basically the 90s life force of the age.
That's the next thing I was going to say. Like, Syl from Species is going to run into the Space Girl. Space Girl's going to be like, be with me, Syl from Species. And Syl's going to be like, okay. And now again, the game has been interrupted because of, the beast with 2 backs, shall we say.
This is going to be a game.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me on this one, man.
On that note.
Yeah. All right. If my team loses, I'm fine with it. Final score, Norbert. You get to pick the final score of this game. Played like a real game. All 4 quarters. Real game.
Okay. Your intangible ghost monster has a very good chance of being the leading scorer because no one can stop him. No one can stop him. On the other hand, your team probably scores not a lot of points because every time the center gets involved, he's either out of bounds or half court because he's 200 feet tall. He can't stand on one side of the court because the court is 94 by 50. And he's 200 feet tall. That means that he is too big for the court. So you guys keep turning the ball over and my team wins.
Nice. I think the lead, Brightburn's pulling in 45 points a game. Easy.
Off of sheer violence and teen angst, I'm sure, yeah.
And it would get more, but Brightburn he's a kid, so he starts doodling. It would have more.
Yeah, he keeps drawing that weird S from the 80s. He destroys the ball. He's distracted by the naked chick from Life Force sitting on the bench because he's got, toxic masculinity issues. Yeah. And the vampire from 30 Days a Night suffers no fools. So anytime Brundlefly does acid drop too many times on the ball, Marlowe just backhands him into the stands. Technical fouls all over the place. The alien queen, she's trying to impregnate everyone, but she gets an easy 30 and 20 with 6 blocks.
Candyman's just monologuing to people.
Oh my God, this is insane.
Well, thank you for joining me, Norbert.
No problem, brother. This exercise in madness, we can do it anytime you want.
Yeah, I thought this episode was going to be like an hour long, but it's about an hour 40. We did it, man. We stretched this thing out. It's perfect.
Good times, baby. I love you.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Norbert Morvan, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.
Boom shakalaka.
The Crystal Lake monsters for the... Wait, yeah, they'd lose. See y'all later. Bye.